Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here, back with another gaming nostalgia story. This is a series that I do where I talk about a game and, accompanying memories of that game. Because, sometimes you just associate a particular event with a game you're playing at the time. So, as you can see, I'm playing Castlevania Symphony that I just started, new save file, just playing around, but this game has a really entertaining story, for me, at least. So, I first played this game when I was younger, in high school. I had actually just had my wisdom teeth removed. And that's fairly common, not really a big deal, but it was entertaining for me, because I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth taken out at once. So I was under sedation, and apparently, on the way home from having my wisdom teeth taken out, I was very belligerent as I was coming off the effects of said anesthesia. And I apparently was yelling at both my mother and the nursing assistant who was helping me get into my car so that I could go home, that I could walk my own damn self to the car, as they were having me go out in a wheelchair, which is a standard procedure. But then I also could not get out of said wheelchair. I was being carried by both ladies. They had me draped on their shoulders, and my feet were dragging on the ground as they were lifting me up. It was a really entertaining experience. I don't remember this. I heard this story secondhand from my mom after sleeping for, I believe it was 8.5 hours solid after the surgery. So I was asleep, and unfortunately don't really remember a lot around that, other than several hours later I was kind of up and about. I couldn't do anything. My mouth was, full of gauze and stitches and whatnot. I couldn't go to class for a couple of days, and I couldn't eat much of anything. I was kind of restricted in what I could actually eat because, holes in face, kind of a thing. So I ate a lot of soft foods like mashed potatoes and ice cream during this time. But I did spend a lot of time playing this game while I was recovering. I spent a couple of days recovering. I did not have a bad reaction by any stretch of the imagination. I've heard much worse horror stories about having dental surgery like this, but I responded very well. But I still really couldn't do much for several days, because couldn't eat, was in a great deal of pain, so couldn't sleep much, so going to class, things like that, were really not on the menu. So I spent a lot of time playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which was a game that I had really, really wanted years before, but I backed the wrong horse growing up. I went with a Saturn instead of a PlayStation for a long time. I actually did eventually get a PS1, but it took a couple of years. Actually, I don't think no, I did get a PS1. I did. I was thinking that maybe my first PS1 that I owned was actually a PS2. No, I got a PS1 at one point as well. So I spent a lot of time playing this, but I remember reading EGM2, which was the companion magazine to Electronic Gaming Monthly, and all they posted were walkthroughs and strategy guides. So over the course of like 2 to 3 issues, they would have a strategy guide for various games. And one of their games was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I remember reading through that. I had actually got the magazine for a couple other strategy guides. I think there was an Albert Odyssey and a Shining the Holy Ark strategy guide in the same issue. And so that's what I was actually focused on, because again, I backed the Saturn. But I remember looking at the strategy guide for Symphony of the Night thinking, oh, this is such an incredible game, I wish it would come out. But naturally, the Saturn version was never localized, unfortunately. So it was something that I never got a chance to play at the time. So I had a copy. Actually, it was my second copy of Symphony of the Night. I had received a copy, loaned it to a friend, and my friend lost it. And so ended up actually had to track down and buy a second copy. Thankfully, at the time, it was not, exceptionally rare or expensive, kind of like it is now. It's not exceedingly rare or expensive, but it's not, by any stretch of the imagination, as cheap as it was when I got the first or second copy. So, finally had it. I was going to spend time, playing it and enjoying it, going through it, because I had nothing else to do. So I spent the entire recovery period just playing Symphony of the Night. I forgot I did not get a shield. This is going to be fun. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Because these guys are not difficult, but they're a lot easier if you have a shield. But, oh, I pissed one of them off. And duck. Alright, I would really like to not die in this, but I'm probably going to die. Because I did not get half the stuff I needed to get. And I have not actually equipped anything. I did not no, I equipped the Hide Curious. Anyway, as I'm sitting here, trying to not fail at this game, telling a story about me being completely, heavily medicated, playing this game, and having a blast. I really enjoyed this game. I was really upset that it took me so long to play it, but thankfully I got a copy and got a second copy through happenstance, and was actually able to play it, and spent the entirety of, it was a week recovery before I could really do much of anything. And I didn't beat the game in that week, but I did get exceptionally far in it, so that by the time I was actually going back to class, I was talking to my friends who had already played it and already beaten it, and getting some insight into sections of the game that I didn't know about, and, secrets that I may have missed and things like that, because this is an exceptionally expansive game, especially for the time. This game is a Metroidvania that rivaled a lot of RPGs, like standalone RPGs at the time, in terms of playtime, and yet now it can be speedrun in a matter of minutes. But after my recovery, I talked to friends and got a lot of insight, and proceeded to spend the next week, during whatever free time I had, playing this game so that I could finally beat it and join the ranks of players who were able to beat this fantastic title. And ever since then, I have actually tried to make it a point to come back and revisit this game as often as possible, because it is just such a fantastic game. I have Let's Played it on my channel, and it was one of my more well-received projects. So I was really excited about that. The Castlevania games have a very, very diverse following and very, divided fan base. Some fans who love the Metroidvania style games, some who prefer the action platformer style, and then there's a huge divide between fans who love the 2D Metroidvanias versus the 3D Metroidvanias. And then you have the reboot, Lords of Shadow, that just came out, that also divides fans. It's very interesting to see such a fan base so passionate about a game that it's become something of interest to me, especially with one of the creators of Symphony of the Night working on his project Bloodstained. So I'm really excited for that game. I did kickstart it, and I cannot wait for it to come out. I think it's going to be an amazing title. So, I will probably, in the future, have a gaming nostalgia story about that, telling my audience about, you know, the first time I played it and how I was able to enjoy it. Things like that. And so I'm really, really excited to see the future of that franchise spawning from this franchise. Because I look forward to making new memories with that. So, if you have a memory related to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, please let me know. It's a game that, like I said, it has a huge fan base and a very diverse fan base, and you know, a very divided fan base in a lot of ways. So if there's a memory that you have of playing this game, maybe you played it with a sibling or a loved one or significant other, and they thoroughly enjoyed it, and that was maybe their entrance into gaming, or it was the first time you've played a Metroidvania game and it caused you to go out and pick up things like Super Metroid and things like that, and it got you into this genre of games that you had not previously known about. Let me know your experiences, because I know I'm not the only one who's had experiences with games like this, specifically this game, so I would love to hear your experiences. So post them in the comments below, or post a video and link me the response, and I'll add it to the comment section of this video. So let me know. I would love to hear your stories, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Gaming Nostalgia story. Till then, later everyone.